Stadium is bursting at the seams. Today we're going to watch drivers in a classic J-hook style race. Brace yourselves for the clash of titans.
Hello viewers and welcome to a first look at Monster Truck Championship, a game that's coming out, well, this week in fact, not long now till launch, and I've got hold of a preview build here to check out and see what it's all about, go through some of this in the package here. You've got these destruction arenas, you've got drag racing, you've got racing, you've got customization. We'll look at some of this in the video here as well. If you like smashing stuff up, that's what Monster Trucks is all about, it's all there. Now we saw this game earlier this year. It was a very early build at the time, and also it was a game aiming to be a simulation, a full simulation of Monster Truck, or as close to simulation as we've come, as we looked at a bit of smashing stuff up, and now looking at one of the drag races on offer as well. Not just straight line drag races, but sliding around various sort of stadium courses that obviously get more difficult as you work your way up against tough opponents. It's all about getting used to the driving in this game. You have the way the vehicle turns, the way the torque works on the power, the way it works with the controller and the wheel. Plays very well with the controller. What you're seeing here has been run with a controller. I've used this on my full screen 1080p monitor and my ultra wide, and you're seeing some of the ultra wide content running here as well, the graphics at max settings, and it really adds a lot when you're playing in the cockpit cam view. Obviously I like the races, and as I play at this stage, there's still a long way for me to go in terms of progressing through the championship and customizing my vehicle and everything else. Now I've shown a little bit of gameplay from different viewpoints throughout, cockpit cam, bumper cam, and I'll show a little bit of GoPro cam in there as well. So let's start off with the bumper cam and just bash some of these cars out of the way. Now, first thing I noticed was the graphical details, really nice on the various car models, the tyres, the wheels, everything looks big and as you imagine it to be. In terms of physics, it's challenging to drive. I still would like a bit more bouncing of the car. I still would like to see it moving a bit more fluidly in terms of truck, shall I say, in terms of the fluidity of the tyres and the suspension, those elements coming together. It does feel like a bit of a rough ride. Here we see a little bit of cockpit cam, giving you that nice view, and there's a nice windscreen effect that works very nice during the various sunsets, and we'll see that on some future footage as well, and I'll be putting a couple of no comment gameplay races on the channel. So driving around here, it's very difficult to say in terms of the overall challenge, what it's going to be as you work your way through the game. I think the first challenge is just keeping it in a straight line. It's very easy with the engine, the torque flat out in third gear to lose the rear, so you really need to balance the throttle, coast into corners gently on the power, and these are big wide vehicles. As you see a little bit of the triple screen here, you're trying to sort of cater for how wide these things really are. It's interesting in the feeling of speed. It's not like driving a sports car. You know, these are big heavy vehicles, they're cumbersome to drive, they're all over the place, and it does feel, it's funny, it reminded me of playing the old Stunt Race FX, the way the cars were moving around many years ago. There's a real cumbersome feel to it, bouncing around, getting your braking right here and there. Having said that, braking's not all that necessary. It's very much down to lifting, coasting, but a bit more on that racing later. You also have your training. It's a core area to get involved, and they'll take you through the various elements there, and you can see you can learn those elements and take you through bit by bit to make you a monster truck driver. So if you're not an expert monster truck driving, you don't know it very well, there's a lot there to get you going. I'll just leave you to a bit of this tutorial in just a moment, but just spinning around, doing whatever you've got to do. I had no idea myself, so I had to go through the tutorial and work out what's it doing and how do I get it spinning like that, and lots of little things in terms of the balance of the vehicle, but you'll get there in the end. So it will take time, and for me this is all new, coming from, you know, rally, racing games, bikes. Monster Trucks is a completely different discipline. There's a whole playground area here to explore where you can try different styles of driving. You can just enjoy yourself. Just go for a drive around the area, exploring the limits of your vehicle, but also learning complex techniques that can help you later in the game.
Here you
as
can
well.
design
Well as
the appearance,
customization.
buy new parts, tune and upgrade your truck. To have a chance against more experienced opponents in more important events, you have to constantly upgrade your vehicle. Most parts are currently unavailable. You can unlock some of them by competing in events, others by completing sponsor challenges, or for a price. You can buy the unlocked part or change the design of the truck.
So there you have it. And then I went through the various customization elements. I've sped all this up, but there's lots in there that you can do to your truck. I haven't been through it all yet, but there's lots of stickers and paints and paint jobs and various upgrades of parts and tuning. So there's a fair bit to do and explore here. This all adds a lot to the Monster Truck experience. If you're big into Monster Truck games, you're going to love all of that stuff to explore. So I just whack a sticker on there and move on. Let's see what's next. Go into management.
This is where you can manage your team members, sign contracts with sponsors, or check your career statistics. Select vacancy to see the candidates for your team. Right now, you can hire somebody from a few candidates, but other specialists will become available as you progress. Candidates represent different professions and have their own sets of skills. When you hire a specialist, you have to pay the initial hiring cost, and depending on his skill set, he might take a share of your income. You can change specialists anytime by paying the hiring cost. Choose a specialist that suits best the needs of your team. Now go to sponsors. Complete sponsor challenges during specified number of events to get additional rewards and new truck parts. You can select one from available sponsors to sign a contract. You'll get more offers as you progress.
So there you have it. Lots to see and explore there. The team mode reminds me very much of WRC in that sense, so if you've played WRC, you know kind of what they're doing, perhaps on a more basic level. I've explored a few of the different circuits and the triple screen mode, and if you guys are interested in seeing these races, I'll probably put a couple of them up in full, either on the YouTube channel or on the Instagram, something like that, just to whack up the odd video. There's also a quick cockpit cam video on Instagram already, and I share these on various social media, if not on the YouTube channel, but there will be probably a no comment run or two on the YouTube channel, and I'll go through that. Still, I mean, this is still it's practically at launch build. There's minor elements now that no doubt they're working on. There'll be a day one patch. In terms of triple screen, just for those that are aware, there's no specific triple screen controls. It is very much a case of just standard, whatever resolution mode. There's no field of view option or anything to change like that. So what you're seeing is just a default field of view stretched across the screen, but it's all right in that sense. It's not perfect, but it's all right. In terms of wheel handling, the game plays pretty perfectly with a controller. I actually think it's harder with a wheel. The force feedback at this stage is limited to nothing. There's very limited force feedback, and what happens is the truck feels very loose in the corners, so you'll have some bumpy feeling from it and then completely loose while the rear end is overtaking you in some way. There's not a lot of feel for it, so I definitely like some more feel in terms of manhandling and the force feedback and the resistance depending on the environment. But I'm not aware of what the real, having not driven one of these trucks, I couldn't tell you how loose they actually feel when you're driving them. But the tracks, as you can see from the race tracks, are very rough tracks, lots of bouncing around, there's lots to explore. Finding your line and maximizing it is tricky, whether, depending on how tight your line is, what line is best for you. On some courses, split in different ways. There's lots to see, do and explore. So if you're playing with a wheel, for me it's always more rewarding driving with a wheel, but you can play just as well with a controller. And as I say, I'll show some of that on various videos coming up this week. But I'm coming to the end of this video. I am going to leave you with one run, just on a triple screen run, just to get an idea of it. It does feel a bit slower in the triple screen with the field of view being as it is. I think you get more, slight more feeling of speed from the external view, but this is more about the physics of driving a monster truck than it is just a high-speed driving experience. So I'm going to leave you with this little bit of action as I go away, and there'll be more from me very soon. Hello viewers, well thanks for watching the video today. Do like and subscribe, it supports what we do. Do become a YouTube member. YouTube Patreon supports all of our content you see on the channel, and of course lots of gaming from retro to modern games. I love it all in terms of racing action. So click on one of the two videos just there to find out more.